Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the George F. Fell Jr. Square. Only took us 42 years to give him a 12 by 12. That's not yards, that's inches. That's all this pole covers. George never died in Vietnam. I don't know why we're here. He died in a country called Cambodia. I never thought we were in Cambodia. I don't think the government ever acknowledged that we're in Cambodia. Even though we see it on Channel 2 and the History Channel, the Military Channel. I think to this day the government hasn't admitted. The government has admitted that we were ever in Thailand with all those bases. And that was 50 years ago. Cambodia. 23 years old. He's an old-timer compared to some of the other kids. 1996, North Quincy High School, Bridgewater, well-educated, Stoner College. Then Cambodia. Wow. I don't know. I don't want to go on too much about it because I get too emotional. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to a good personal friend of mine. He's a state representative. He represents the 1st Norfolk District. And his name is Bruce J. Ayers, State Representative Ayers. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Larry.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Larry, and good morning. I want to bring the greetings of the Massachusetts House of Representatives, and also I'd like to thank the Vietnam combat veterans and their armed forces for their commitment to honoring our fallen comrades of the city of Quincy, and for giving me an opportunity to speak here this morning. And for the family and friends of George Fell, I also want to take a moment to acknowledge John Fell, who flew home from Afghanistan, to attend this morning's ceremony. Thank you for sharing this special day with us, and thank you for your service. For all those who put their lives on the line for our country, freedom has a special meaning that many of us will never know. This belief resonates in the hearts of our nation's veterans, and while we pay homage to all the American veterans, the city of Quincy takes great pride and expresses its gratitude to a hometown hero, a graduate of North Quincy High School, class of 1966, who enlisted in the United States Army after attending college and courageously volunteered for duty in Vietnam. We are all here today to acknowledge a brave Vietnam veteran and dedicate this memorial square to Specialist 4th Class George Francis Fell, Jr. This dedication plaque is a symbol of our city's commitment to never forget the sacrifices of our fallen heroes or their families. I believe this dedication captures the memories, the courage, and the sacrifices of the Vietnam War's fallen. Today, the return of our servicemen and women is properly recognized and acknowledged. Unfortunately, there are times in our nation's history when our veterans did not return home to a warm welcome. As we all know, our Vietnam veterans that returned home never received a parade, a thank you, or a hero's welcome, which they truly deserved. The city of Quincy is very fortunate to have so many committed veterans who have fought for our country only to return home and get involved with the veterans organizations and posts. As I look out this morning, I see many members of the veterans posts and organizations from my legislative district. The Nickerson Post, Cyril P. Morissette Post, the William R. Caddy Detachment, just to say a few. These veterans posts give so much back to the community with their outreach programs, visiting hospitalized veterans, youth scholarship programs, and their women's auxiliary programs. This says so much about their dedication of the post, as well as the character of the people involved. I believe as a legislation, and we have an obligation to support our veterans. I was never drafted. I never had to fight a war because of the sacrifices many of you made. Our veterans fight the real battles. They should not be expected to come home and fight the bureaucratic battles for adequate health care, employment opportunities, and housing. These are the core commitments that I've advocated for in Beacon Hill. I was proud to support and vote to expand veterans benefits that would offer more employment and education and training opportunities to our veterans who are returning back home from overseas. And yesterday, during our budget deliberations at the State House, I voted to support extra money towards our soldiers' homes and increase our veterans benefits. Veterans issues must remain the central focus of our work in the legislature. Legislators must remain committed to work diligently to provide for our veterans and give full support to all our veterans. Each person who died during our nation's conflicts was loved by family and friends. And as we pause here today to remember those heroes of our past, let us also remember our active service members and veterans and give them our thanks. Our veterans shall always remain in our memory, and we shall always remain in their debt. I want to thank you again for the invitation to speak here this morning. I'm proud to gather with you to honor George Fell. George is just another example of the brave men and women who have embodied the history and the core values of our nation since the fight for democracy began. Our city of Quincy is filled with a lot of history and pride. This morning, as we gather together to dedicate this street corner in memory of our hometown hero, George Francis Fell, Jr., who died while fighting for our country, is yet another great example of that history and pride. Thank you.
Bruce. State Representative Bruce Sears, thank you very much, sir. It was a beautiful speech, very heartwarming. I'm sure the family appreciates every word, Bruce, that you said.